Major U.S. naval, air buildup set stage for potential Iran war. Germany's MERS joins calls for social media limits for children. U.S. to withdraw all troops from Syria reports. Ramadan begins in Gaza amid ruins of shattered mosques. Meta's Zuckerberg denies at LA trial that Instagram targets kids. A major U.S. military buildup in the Middle East is raising the prospect of a sustained campaign against Iran if Donald Trump orders military action. The deployment includes warships, fighter jets, and refueling aircraft, positioning U.S. forces to strike quickly if nuclear talks with Tehran collapse. Trump, who ordered strikes on Iranian targets last year, has warned that further action is possible if negotiations fail to replace the nuclear deal he abandoned in 2018. U.S. media outlets CNN and CBS reported on Wednesday that the military could be ready to launch strikes as early as this weekend, though no final decision has been announced. Security analysts say the scale of the deployment creates its own pressure. Susan Zayeda, of the Center for Strategic and International Studies, said the concentration of firepower can generate momentum that becomes difficult to reverse. Naval and air buildup. The United States currently has 13 warships in the region, including an aircraft carrier, destroyers, and littoral combat ships, with additional vessels en route. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz has voiced support for restricting children's access to social media, citing growing concerns over misinformation, online manipulation, and harm to young people. Speaking ahead of his Conservative Christian Democratic Union (CDU) party conference, Merz said he had become increasingly convinced that compulsory age limits were necessary. He warned that fake news, AI-generated content, and manipulated videos were undermining society and putting children at risk. Merz noted that 14-year-olds in Germany spend an average of 5.5 hours a day online, calling the impact of algorithms and artificial intelligence far greater than he had previously believed. The CDU conference on Friday will debate a proposal to ban access to platforms such as TikTok and Instagram for children under 16. Similar calls have also come from Merz's center-left coalition partners, the Social Democrats. Several European countries, including France, Spain, Greece, and Britain, are considering comparable restrictions, following Australia, which last year became the first country to legally require platforms to block children. The United States is planning to withdraw all of its remaining 1,000 troops from Syria over the next 2 months, according to U.S. media reports. The Wall Street Journal and CBS News, citing unnamed U.S. officials, said Washington is preparing to end its military presence after the Syrian government reasserted control across much of the country. The Kurdish-led Syrian Democratic Forces, once a key U.S. partner against Islamic State, has pledged to integrate into state institutions. U.S. forces have already pulled out of several bases, including Al-Tanf and al-Shaddadi, which were central to the U.S.-led campaign against Islamic State. Washington has moved closer to Syria's new leadership following the fall of Bashar al-Assad in late 2024. The U.S. has also transferred thousands of Islamic State detainees from Syrian prisons to secure facilities in Iraq. The withdrawal comes as the U.S. increases its military presence near Iran amid rising tensions. U.S. media have reported that Washington could be ready to launch strikes against Iran as early as this weekend, though President Donald Trump has not made a final decision. The Pentagon has not yet commented on the reports. As the Muslim holy month of Ramadan began in Gaza on Wednesday, residents gathered to pray among the ruins of destroyed mosques, or in makeshift prayer spaces built from wood and plastic sheets. In Gaza City, the remains of the Al-Husseina Mosque lie in rubble. Its collapsed dome sits atop debris, while families now sleep, cook, and hang laundry in what was once the mosque's courtyard. "We used to pray together here in comfort," said Sami al-Hissi, a long-time mosque volunteer. "Now there are no mosques, no friends, and no loved ones left." Many mosques that once drew thousands of worshippers during Ramadan have been destroyed, leaving little space for communal prayer. Children play among broken walls as displaced families shelter inside the ruins. According to Gaza's authorities, Israeli strikes have completely destroyed more than 800 mosques and damaged hundreds more. churches and cemeteries have also been hit. Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg testified on Wednesday in a landmark U.S. trial over claims that social media harms children's mental health, repeatedly stating that Meta Platforms does not allow children under 13 on Facebook and Instagram. Zuckerberg was questioned in a Los Angeles courtroom during a jury trial brought by a California woman who says she began using Instagram and YouTube as a child and suffered depression and suicidal thoughts as a result. She alleges the companies knowingly designed addictive products to hook young users for profit. A lawyer for the plaintiff confronted Zuckerberg with internal Meta documents suggesting children were seen as a key growth audience. One 2018 internal Instagram presentation stated, "If we want to win big with teens, we must bring them in as tweens." Zuckerberg denied that Meta targeted children under 13, saying the documents were being misinterpreted. He told the court that while Meta had discussed creating child-safe versions of its services in the past, no such products were ever launched. Meta and Google have denied wrongdoing and say they have invested heavily in safety features for young users. Rival platforms Snap and TikTok settled with the plaintiff before the trial began.